All right, I'll guess we get started with the last presentation. Congratulations, you made it to the very end. So my colleague Katharina, Kley, and I wanted to focus specifically on the topic of written versus oral language, the differences that exist there, and the great teaching opportunities that they provide. So we both teach German here at CLIC, and for our language data, for our presentation, we focused specifically on 2 YouTube videos. One reflected a dialogue at a pharmacy. The other one was a survey that was done randomly on some street in Germany. There are lots of videos like this out on YouTube in your languages also, where people are just being questioned on a specific topic. In this case, it was, what does Heimat mean to you? So what does home mean to you? And we also will give some examples on what you can do with text messaging. So of course, the first question that comes up is, what do you do with this? What do you do? What do you teach when it comes to differences in spoken versus written language? So our example here is now German, because that's the language we teach. But some of these examples that you find here on the chart also translate to your languages. For instance, where you have the subject being omitted when it comes to spoken versus written language, where verbs are being omitted when people speak. What you sometimes also see is that word endings or word beginnings are omitted. Sometimes also the omission of internal sounds of words, or where you have omitted sounds as part of contractions. Sometimes you have phenomena such as sound fusing, or a specific grammatical aspect where you have differences in verb placement and subordinate clauses. Again, these are German examples, but I'm sure you're already thinking of how this translates to your language that you are teaching. When we asked some of our colleagues to maybe briefly come up with very simple examples where there is a difference between written and spoken language, these were some examples that we came up with and that colleagues passed on to us. So oftentimes you have the phenomenon of words being shortened, endings being dropped, grammatical markers being omitted. I mean, Chinese was one example where actually a word is being added in spoken language. So simple examples of that nature.
Okay. The next question would be, well, how do you actually teach this phenomenon of written language on the one hand side versus the spoken language on the other? So we created lesson plans for our first year German classes, and we used the authentic material you saw at the beginning, right? The two YouTube videos and the text messages. Of course, for different lessons. Yeah, we did not use them all together in one lesson, but for different lessons. So instead of showing you the various lesson plans, we just picked and choose. Some of the activities we created. Okay, and what we thought you could do is, as a data analysis class, just have students notice the difference between spoken and written language. For example, here, these are example phrases from the survey that was done. So here we're asking students to have a closer look at what people say, answer the questions with a partner. So all these people talk about themselves, have a look at the verb endings. Do you notice something? Or find the main and subordinate clauses here. What do you notice? Is there actually a subject in the last statement here? What do you notice? Yeah, so it's just about awareness raising. And students are pretty much aware with how, already in first year, how German works. There should be a subject in every sentence. We cannot just drop it. It needs to be there. And just by seeing, okay, well, the subject is definitely not there, so there seems to be a difference. What you could also do, talking about data analysis, is have students identify written forms. So here, in this task, we asked the students to complete the table with a partner. So write the sentences from the survey, the sentence we just saw, in the appropriate column, and then how would you actually write these sentences? Yeah. So we would then ask students to actually provide that subject that was missing in the spoken version of that particular phrase. It's just another option. What else can you do? This is now about the text messages. here you can give students the text messages on the one hand side, and again give them a table of some sort, and have students find like the short forms in the text messages, and then how would those forms actually be in written language? Because we would not necessarily write them this way. For example, in the Hoyt today, there's the ending missing, the E, so you actually need to have it there in like written language. Okay. So I mean, these were just some data analysis tasks, but of course you can also teach the 4 skills, by using those materials you found, and just very simple. You can have students first listen to, for example, hear the survey, have them recognize some words. What words do you actually hear? To have them figure out what do these people actually think Heimat is for them or means to them, okay, and then compare in class what they heard. I mean, since it's an authentic video, people talk very quickly, right? So students have to listen carefully and just write out some words they hear. Another option, this is more about comprehending content. What do these people actually say? Here, the students watch the video again, and then the question is who says what. So here the idea is that students match the statements on the left with the people on the right. But this is just really listening comprehension if you want. Another idea is then to have students talk about the same topic among themselves. What does Heimat mean to you? Okay. Discuss this with the partner, share your opinions with the others in class. And of course here the idea is, just use some expressions that you've seen the German speakers use when they answered that question. Okay, so you have them use those expressions. Just another idea. Remember I was talking about the text messages too, so that was again from another lesson, but again comprehending text content. Here very simple, just read the text messages, again answer the questions. Pretty simple, yeah. So the idea is, I mean, what we want to show you is that, of course, you can focus on the data analysis, right? But I think you can even get more out of these. You can even get more out of these materials or authentic materials by also, focusing on listening, reading, writing, and so on and so forth. The different skills we usually teach in the classroom. Like here, have students write their own text message. Find a partner and exchange phone numbers. German, of course, write each other text messages, make arrangements, and of course, use the short forms you've come across, reading the other text messages the Germans produced. Okay, so these were just some examples, some activities we came up with. So again, we focused on the data analysis on the one hand side, but not only that, we also tried to teach the 4 skills. And try to create some activities that, of course, then also use the same materials. Okay. So that was the idea. And
now it's your turn.
Now it's your turn. On your handout for the last section, there's some activities for you where you can think about a similar phenomena in your language, spoken versus written language. Think of short forms, for example, and you can create some activities too. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.